Four hikers and two dogs arrived in the town of Marble on the afternoon of February 25th. They planned to hike into a backcountry home located in Lower Yule Creek, approximately 1 mile to the southeast of town. They hiked in following an unmaintained road. There are a couple junctions with historic mining roads between the bridge and the home site. At one junction there is a fork with both an upper and lower road. The two roads parallel one another and both lead to the home site. The one hiker who stayed behind was aware that the lower road posed potential avalanche risk when snow covered. He told the other three hikers that went ahead that they should stay on the upper road and avoid travel on the lower road. They traveled around half the distance to the home and reached a bridge over Yule Creek. This is when the one hiker who knew the route to the home had to stop and rest due to a previous lower leg injury that was preventing him from walking further. Around 2:30 in the afternoon, the three hikers and both dogs mistakenly took the lower road. This lower road cuts mid-slope along the side of a very steep gully. They triggered an avalanche from below, and the moving debris knocked them off the lower road and down into the ravine, where the debris formed a very deep pile. Two people were partially buried but were able to dig themselves out of the snow. The other person and both dogs were completely buried and killed in the avalanche. The avalanche occurred on a steep west-facing slope below treeline. It was a soft slab avalanche triggered by a snowshoer, small-sized relative to the path, and produced enough destructive force to bury, injure, or kill a person. The avalanche ran 200 vertical feet and was approximately 50 feet wide. The crown face of the avalanche was 1 to 2 feet high. The avalanche broke at the interface of new and old snow on faceted crystals 2 millimeters in size. The avalanche debris averaged 4 to 5 feet deep in the creek bed. The average steepness of the slope in the starting zone was 39 degrees. This accident highlights the importance of trip planning and basic avalanche awareness when traveling in snow-covered mountains, regardless of your activity. Even a short hike along an unmaintained road requires planning. There are many steep avalanche-prone slopes in the Colorado mountains. Identifying terrain to avoid is an important part of the planning process. Once identified, it is critical that all group members understand the plan and where they need to avoid. The three hikers were confused on which road to take and chose incorrectly. Clear communication between group members could have prevented this fatal error. Carrying the right equipment is also important, and the bare minimum for travel in avalanche terrain is a transceiver, probe pole, and shovel. The group involved in this accident did not intend to enter avalanche terrain. They were simply looking forward to a weekend getaway at a family backcountry home. A wrong turn on the lower road led to this tragic outcome. Obtaining current information on avalanche conditions is part of preparing for the day in the mountains. On the day of the accident, the CAIC forecast described very dangerous conditions and emphasized that avalanches could be triggered from the bottom of slopes. The group may have been able to identify and avoid suspect slopes had they read the forecast. This is a particularly sad accident since the group had no intention of entering avalanche terrain. They were simply unaware of the hazard, and one wrong turn made the difference between an enjoyable weekend in a backcountry home with friends and this very tragic outcome. Our sincere condolences go out to all the survivors, family members, and loved ones of this tragic accident.